want to be exploited, and we don't want to exploit anybody.
Ain't nobody going to do it for us. There's nobody outside of yourself, nobody outside of ourselves that's going to do this work for us. We have to put in that real work.
Because the better you are at exploiting people, the more successful you are within capitalism.
We want to say salute to all our political prisoners, our POWs, our elder comrades in exile.
The satisfaction we need as a people only comes through liberation and independence.
We're not just building for self, we're building for the family, because the family is broken. We're building for the community is broken. The nation is broken. The race is under attack. We're in a state of emergency.
You're tuned in to the New African Broadcast Association, where we inform, educate, and elevate. Free the land.
We always say the Black Panther Party that they can do anything they want to us. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am a revolutionary.
These are the voices of New Africa. These are the voices of New Africa. These are the voices of New Africa. Free in the land, and we ain't asking y'all.
Welcome everybody to the Voices of New Afrika, the show where we educate the uneducated and re-educate the miseducated. I'm your host, Brother Prophecy, and I got Brother Kayi and my elder, our Grandmaster Teacher for Dali riding with me as always. And man, we got a good show. We've been having a lot of technical difficulties, especially at this location. Our signal has not been very strong these last couple of weeks, so we apologize for that. But we still, the show must go on, and we're gonna do what we do. We had a very good discussion on the radio broadcast earlier. Talked about a lot of different things. But first of all, I want to say what's up to Comrade Kayi and Grandmaster Teacher. How y'all doing?
Free land. I'm doing good. Good.
Definitely. So, like I said, we had a lively discussion, and y'all look over, some of the technical difficulties. And my camera just went out. Look over some of the technical difficulties. But if y'all watching this broadcast, give us a like, share this program, let people know that we're out here and we're having these conversations, and we're trying to build with our community to make sure that I see Melly Queen just did that. What's up, Melly Queen? Good to see you back on the fold of things. But yeah, like I said, make sure y'all give us a like and share the program. If it's anybody who you would benefit or enjoy from this type of content, this type of conversation, make sure y'all, tag them in so we can have this collective conversation, and we can build together and, just grow as a family and do what we need to do to liberate our communities. We've talked about a couple of different things. One of the things I know that's been in the news lately, and y'all gotta look over me, man. My screen is just going in and out for some reason. But lately, just last week, it was a brother, black man, 30-year-old black man in a New York subway who was homeless, had a mental health crisis, and this brother was attacked by a ex-Marine, white man, and put into a chokehold, a rear naked chokehold, and he was basically choked to death. He choked the life out of this man on video. You could see the video. You could see the man struggling, and then all of a sudden you see him not moving, and his life is just slips away. Terrible, tragic story. And of course, police do what they always do. They interviewed the guy and let him go. Let's let them go. When it took people protesting, acting a fool, being angry, upset before, some attention came to this case, and we'll see what happens. But y'all got anybody want to chime in on this issue or anything else that's going on? Graham, I see you got anything you want to add to the conversation?
Yes, it's something that particularly happens in terms of, particularly in New York and subways where people, that you have all kind of homes.
Can you unmute him?
Yes, the situation in New York on the subway, the floor.
Go ahead. See if you can.
Yes, in New York, in the subways, there are numerous homeless people, and the homeless people really have a right. But in this situation where this guy has known on the subway for impersonating Michael Jackson for a number of years, a harmless person who basically must have offended this white guy, but nobody else was offended by his actions or his behavior. And this white guy decided he was going to shut him up. So he wound up doing that neck hold, and which has been a bigger killer of black people, black men, particularly when police would grab black men and kill them because of the nature of the chokehold. So I want to say that we have to begin to defend ourselves and organize everywhere, organize our homeless so that the homeless rights can be protected by themselves as well as others who are observing those kind of activities. And but the typical thing in terms of a white man or police basically taking the law into their own hands and basically killing us. And I think that we have to begin to take some things in our own hands and create our own organization so we can begin to handle those kind of situations.
Yeah, I believe wholeheartedly in that. One of the things that this is Kokai. I know you can't see my mouth moving. One of the things I'm a firm believer in is that we have to classify things as protection, serving our community for us as positive and good things to do. There's no reason why right now we should be putting together some things that will protect our community and stand steadfast that the purpose and goal of what we create is for protecting our community and protecting our community alone, and do not allow anybody to control the narrative of what we're doing. So when we say that we need to have our own tribunals in our community, that's for the good of our community. It has nothing to do, it's irrelevant what anybody else has to say or think about us taking measures to improve the conditions of our community. Because they'll say the same thing about us in Section for Liberation and Freedom, because we are in control of making sure that that is a solution to our problem. We have enemies that want to put a monkey wrench in it, and we can't stand for that anymore. The chokehold that was put on us, on the brother in the subway, hasn't even begun to resemble any form of justice. Anytime he's murdered one of our people and set free to see another day out there in the streets where he could get a hold of another one of our helpless citizens. So we gotta think seriously about what is worth, the sacrifice in our community to attain liberation and freedom.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, me being someone who has taught Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, martial arts in general, I'm very familiar with the move that this guy was put into. Now, this white man is an ex-Marine, so he's trained and he basically, this is basic knowledge. But a rear naked choke, it doesn't take long, especially if you apply it correctly. It does not take long to choke somebody out. It does not take long to render someone unconscious. If you do it right, in 10 seconds, you'll be asleep. In 20 seconds, you'll probably be dead. That's one reason why it is illegal for most police departments to put people in chokehold, because it just, especially when you're struggling, it's so easy to seriously hurt someone, and you don't even really have to try to be doing it. You don't even have to have it on really, really tight for it to do serious damage. Now, in competition, that's why you do something called tapping out. Once you feel it, you be like, okay, I can't resist anymore. You tap out. If you don't tap out, then basically, man, take over, man. My whatchamacallit just died.
Yeah. So we're okay.
Yeah. So and we've been through training. So the chokehold is something that you can use to incapacitate the enemy, or you can choke them out to a point where it becomes a fatality.
Yeah, I'm back now. I'm appreciate it. But yeah, you're correct. And basically, how it works, within about 10 seconds, you're gonna be asleep. And a little longer, you're gonna die. And that's how it is. It's not sometime. It's just, because what it does is it cuts off the oxygen supply to your brain. It's not like holding your breath. Some people think, well, it's just like holding your breath. No, it's not. Because when you hold your breath, that means that oxygen is still getting to your brain. It's just no more oxygen is entering in your body, but the oxygen that is in your body is still going to your brain, so you can function for a little while. That's why you can hold your breath for like a minute, 2 minutes, depending on you. But when it comes to a chokehold, the oxygen supply is cut off from your brain. They cut it off at the neck. So you don't have very long to survive. You can't maintain that, because the oxygen that is in the body is not going to the brain, so it's relatively quick and it's really dangerous. That's why most police departments outlaw these particular moves, because it's just so easy to kill somebody. And the fact that this was on tape, and then when you look at the film, when you look at the video, you see the only reason that he even stopped because an individual in the audience, in the crowd, said, look, you got to be careful, man. You got a chokehold on that man. He could suffocate. And by the time he said that, it had already happened. The brother had stopped moving. And of course, the police basically just went up and allowed this man to go home. And it took protests and people acting a fool before we even had attention on this case, before we even knew anything about it. This brother was a homeless man who was having a mental health crisis. And according to witnesses, he wasn't attacking anybody. He was just kind of annoying, maybe, because he was loud. But yeah, this is just the standard of what happens to us in America. Our lives are not valued in this country. So ultimately, we have to make the decision, a concrete decision on doing something about that, changing our reality. changing what's going on with us here in America. If we live in a country where you have to beg people to just do the basic things, minimum things, to get the minimum form of justice, then at some point in time, we need to realize that the individuals who are in charge, who are in authority, are not individuals that we need to entrust with the duties of giving us justice, with the duties of providing us with the institutions that are needed for us to live and thrive. We have to say, look, maybe it's time that we put these duties and these responsibilities in our own hands. And y'all got to excuse me, I'm having all kind of technical difficulties. But yeah, like I said, we have to put these duties and responsibilities in our hands and take control of our own community. That's what we're trying to do here, not only at the Voices of New Afrika, with the New African Independence Movement, with the Republic of New Afrika. We are working with individuals that have their own schools, their own economic system, banks, own farms, our own grocery stores, and the things that we need in order to survive. And we're networking and we're building. This is what's called nation building. Ultimately, we want to have an independent nation in which we govern ourselves. We want self-government. We want self-determination. We got to start by gaining control over our communities, creating what's called liberated zones, where areas where the community is controlled by the people. We control the resources, we control the institution and industry and the things that's needed to for survival. A lot of people, June next month, a lot of people will celebrate Juneteenth. And people, I see people walking around with T-shirts saying Juneteenth, that's my Independence Day. Well, I love Juneteenth. I like Juneteenth, support Juneteenth. But it's not our Independence Day, because the reality is, in America, under this system of white supremacy, this system of capitalism, this system of oppression, we have not gained our independence. We are not independent. We were independent before we came to America, before we were in this system of white supremacy, chattel slavery. And what we have today is capitalism. We had independence before we were under the authority of this white power structure. But independence is what we actually need right now. We need independence. Juneteenth, that's when the last of our ancestors discovered that we were no longer under the system of chattel slavery. We just went to another system. It just evolved to where it became more efficient. But we need actual true independence. We got to go step by step. We got to start with trying to gain control over our communities. Have independent communities, have independent schools, independent grocery stores, independent banks. These are things that we can do. But we have to focus our intellect, our energy, our talents into accomplishing these goals. We can't get wrapped up into the struggles of European people. We can't get wrapped up into their chess game, especially when we're playing checkers. Because I always say, when you play checkers in a chess game, you end up being a pawn in someone else's chess game. So we have to focus on what we need to do in order to gain liberation. And I'm a yield on that. Let anybody else pick it up.
So it's all about us empowering ourselves. We must empower ourselves in our own community. In the process of talking about the building the provisional government of the Republic of New Afrika, and reminded us of our identity as African, as New Africans in the Western Hemisphere, then we are in the process of empowering ourselves. So that means that every community that we exist in, we want to empower ourselves so we can link up with the provisional government of the Republic of New Afrika. We want to become involved in the process of the structure of that government, because we want to govern ourselves. I mean, empower ourselves means we govern ourselves. Nobody can govern us but us. And we have to begin to understand that procedure that takes place where we're taking control of our communities and begin to empower ourselves. And basically, and this is what African people throughout the world have to do: empower themselves, take control over their resources, of their communities, wherever we are in the world. This is what we must do. And in the Western Hemisphere, the 1968, the Republic of New Africa was created, and the provisional government was created. And we have officials right now who are in charge, and we need to begin to know who these people are and begin to become in contact with them so we can begin to pull all our people together in a plebiscite. And that plebiscite is necessary so that we can get recognition throughout the world that that the Republic of New Africa exists, and this is what's going to represent us in all affairs, including reparations. If there's reparations that are going to come to us, it must be done to a government, and not just given to individuals. We did not become enslaved individually. We became enslaved collectively. It was a collective process of kidnapping and all kinds of other, subterfuge to put us into slavery. And so, and to continue that slavery under what they call Jim Crow, under which we, were put up in a system where we couldn't control the system that we were talking about, that we were part of, that we thought we were going to be a part of as a result of the end of chattel slavery in 1865. Nothing happened like it was supposed to, and then ultimately they took all of whatever rights that we had. The right to vote was the primary vote that was given to black men, was taken from black folks and Jim Crow throughout the United States.
And yeah, and that's a valid point. There's a number of things throughout our history that dictates to us what direction we need to go in. And I'm a firm believer that even at the 1865, when we supposedly had the so-called right to vote, we started seeing a rash of massacres of black people around the nation. One of the massacres was in Colfax, Louisiana, where over 100 or so people were trapped in a church where they voted, and the church was burned down. And while they tried to escape the fire, they sealed off all the entrances except the front door. And as they came out, they picked them off and shot them and killed them as they were coming out. And this was just because we were trying to vote. And all out of the United Snakes of America during that time, there were other atrocities based on us just exercising the privilege that white people gave us to vote. And so we can't get sidetracked with the fact that we gave them all opportunity to prove to us that they were fair people, good people. We educated them and directed them to do the right thing by us, to no avail. And so we as real conscious citizens of the Republic of New Africa understand that all remedies have been exhausted. We can't take the sacrifice. We can't take the casualties of trying to work with them, and then after they kill a few of us, determine that, okay, it's not right now. We know it's not right. We've experienced it before, and we know what these people are capable of. Like I always say, they're the world's greatest murderers, the world's greatest killers, rapists, the world's greatest kidnappers, the world's greatest liars, and we need to take them for that. And I'll use one of the things Maya Angelou said: when they show you who they are the first time, believe them. while we getting prophecy back, we just want to make an announcement. Melly Mel is good about this. We want to thank you guys for joining the New African Broadcasting Association. So we can check out other shows, the New African Perspective on Mondays from 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Facebook Live, Foundation of a Nation on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. on Facebook Live, and Conversation Between Comrades on Thursday at 6:30 Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, and Truth to Power with Sister Melly on Blog Talk Radio. That's 563-999-3738. Much love and respect. And if you can give us a time, I know that's Friday at 7.
It's Friday at 5.
Friday at 5. Yeah, Friday at 5. So you go, all of you on Facebook Live to see the underscore right there. It's Truth to Power with Sister Millie on Blog Talk Radio Friday at 5.
Yeah, definitely make sure y'all check out all of our shows. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, make sure y'all check out all of our shows because we have a great lineup. But like I was saying before, for my technology just going berserk on me today. I don't know, we got to upgrade things or something. But you talked about the massacre at Colfax. Just last week, we just had the anniversary of a massacre that happened right here in Memphis, Tennessee, Ida-B-Well City. Massacre of 1866 that happened right in South Memphis because we had, basically it was a confrontation between Union soldiers that were black right here in Memphis. And they ended up like a Rosewood type of massacre where a militia, a mob of white people went and murdering black people indiscriminately and burning down houses, churches, and buildings. And like, I think 46 people died, 44 of them black. And I mean, one of those individuals who died was actually a white police officer who shot himself. And this is one of the things that kicked it off. But yeah, it's just interesting that you talked about the massacre because it happened all over the United States. And the common thing about most of these massacres is it happened in an area in which black people were beginning to empower themselves. They were reaching a level of power and independence of the European power structure. And if we look at that, we understand the times that we were most attacked by our enemy, when we were most viciously attacked by our enemy under this system, has been the times in which we have been approaching a level of independence. Then that should tell us that, you know what, the real danger to this power structure is our independence, is our ability to do for ourselves, is our ability to break the chains of dependency that this white supremacist power structure have over us. That's the real danger to this system. We talk about a lot of things, but every time that we've approached some level of independence, we've been viciously attacked on that. As long as we are working, navigating within the system so this European power structure can continue to maintain control over us, and our talents and our skills and our abilities are going toward building up their nation, then it's cool. They have some pushback. Well, I don't want you to go to your school, to our schools, and all of these things. But ultimately, they still benefit from it. A lot of people, when I remember the movie Black Panther came out, the movie Wakanda Forever, the Wakanda Black Panther, and people were just celebrating, saying, "Oh, wow, we got a black hero on the big stream, and it's never been done on that level." And it's true, it was a beautiful movie, it was very successful, but still, even within that, in something that we look at as a triumph of the white power structure, these white corporations made, millions, billions of dollars off of that. And the black actors got paid, pennies from that. So even within this system, we think we're doing, something great and we celebrating a great success, we're still aiding the building of a nation that don't give a damn about us. So at some point in time, we got to say, look, we got all of this talent, this skill, this ability. People always talk about how racist the NFL is. But, man, you take out the black people from the NFL, you don't have an NFL. Take the black people from the NBA, you don't have an NBA. But yet all of this talent and the skills are all going to support a system in a nation that disrespects us and don't care about our lives. So at that point, at some point, we got to take a big step back and look and say, damn, what if I use my talents? If I use my skills? What if I use my intellect? What if I use my abilities to build my own nation up, to focus on supporting the type of institutions that support me? Why don't I support the Uhuru Academy, a school that's educating our youth in a way that's going to help us create the type of citizens to our nations that's going to be productive and going to go out there and lay a foundation for a future for our great, great, great grandchildren? Why don't I support these type of things? You got anything you want to comment on that, Grandmaster Teacher?
Yeah, I think in particular the celebrities, people that call who have resources to be thinking how they to our community, not to just the community out there. We at one point in time we had a Black United Fund, that was being supported, that was organized by Black folks, and particularly on the West Coast, but our people have been steered to doing United Way, which is a fund of not any of our community projects or anything for the most part. So we have to do our own funding of our, so that we and the pooling of resources. And what we're finding is that the celebrities are not participating in doing the funding to the level of even doing the so-called civil rights movement, where you had some actors and singers that basically participated and gave their resources and their time to the energy of trying to deal with our rights and human rights. Arabella Fonte was one.
Yeah, Arabella Fonte.
Who dealt with human rights, and that was consistent throughout his life. He just recently passed away. And if anybody wants to see it in the documentary, where he showed what he called on the celebrities to support resources. Even when he was dealing with human rights, he even was able to fund help Martin Luther King's family. When Martin Luther King was just a preacher, he was getting $8,000 a year and participated in the movement. And Arabella Fonte took on the expenses of King's family, and throughout his life he participated, and he was called a communist, for his support of all the human rights activities that we should be involved in. We should never relent in terms of our support for any movement that is our movement that we control. And so, therefore, when we talk about the resources as individuals giving our time and our energy, and that's in the code of emotions, for all individuals who are involved in the revolution to take all of their resources and to donate their resources to the movement and to the people that are in the movement and to the organizations and institutions that are created by the movement. And the liberation movement of African people is still alive today. But we ought to have to begin to demand that these people who are making all this money off of us, and coming directly off of us because of their celebrity, to begin to turn over their resources to our struggle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's not much I can say beyond that. I did want to mention that when we talked about the massacre in Memphis in 1866, the Colfax massacre was in 1873. To give you a time uh, framework about the time span in which all of these things was happening. It happened during a so-called um, setting the black folks, emancipating the black folks.
That's 4 years before the 1877 withdrawal of federal troops. You know,
That's right.
Russell behaved.
Matter of fact,
big betrayal.
well, you can't gloss over that. Tell them, because we know about the 1877 withdrawal, but tell them what it was, how it affected us, and what it enabled white people to do at a mass level.
In 1877, in Congress, there was a compromise that allowed Rutherford B. Hayes to become a Republican, a Republican in the House of Representatives, and this was called the Compromise of 1877. And what they did was they pulled all the troops out of the southern states, in which Africa had become power in all those states.
What troops?
For example, and many of the troops were black troops, African troops. The Buffalo Soldiers. That's the whole notion of the Buffalo Soldiers going out to protect the white settlers. So they pulled all the troops out.
Right.
Okay. And so in South Carolina, in Mississippi, in Alabama, in Louisiana, the Ku Klux Klan, the terrorists came in power in those states, and black men were taken out of office.
Mm-hmm.
They were assassinated. There was all kinds of not just the massacres, but there were also individuals that were assassinated. That were effective. That were supposed to have been effective for the African community in that period of time.
Right.
And during that period of time, that's when all the school systems and all that thing was set, because under chattel slavery, the master didn't want even the poor whites to have any education. So schools and all that was set up by black legislators and all that throughout the South. And so there was a mass movement throughout the South by white men, basically, who were like night riders and all those kind of things, to eliminate, and they eliminated completely the black vote, the black men, took black men out of office. And so because black men was in the legislature, was in the House and the Senate. In one state, I think Louisiana, he had a governor, a black man that was a governor. And so in South Carolina, it was a vast majority, and they had to do terrorist act to eliminate those people who were participating in politics, in South Carolina. And the result is still here today, because it's only 26% of the population of blacks in South Carolina, which South Carolina had the largest majority of black people in during that period of time. And where do we go? We fled from all these states, to the so-called northern states and all that. And so these are the kind of things that we have to be in to understand that. And this was called the Great Betrayal by Rayford Logan, who was a professor at Howard University. It's called Betrayal of Negro, by Rayford Logan. It's still
circulating
as a historical, work, which shows how in Memphis, Tennessee, where you had two newspapers, one called the Daily Appeal that became a commercial appeal later on, and the Evening Senator that advocated lynching and advertised lynching of black folks, in that period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go to a couple of comments. Melly Queen, good to see you back on the scene, Melly Queen. know you had to take a little break to recharge from Nation Day because you did so much work to make that event successful. And thank you for what you have done and what you continue to do and what you will do in the future. But in a response to a comment that Grandmaster Teacher made, Melly Queen responded with exactly collective unity of the critical mass that are ready to build and create our new African nation. Definitely. And she followed up with a comment saying, if it'll show up, if it'll come up. Everything is going slow today. There it is. We are here for connecting with any new African or Black collectives that's working toward true liberation of our people. Where are y'all at? Doing the work. Let's connect. And that's a very good sentiment, an important statement, because that's kind of what we're trying to do. That's how we got this novel thing going. You know, you had individuals who were out there doing podcasts and said, you know what, let's do this together. Let's collectively work together. We still have our own individual shows, but at the same time, we said we're gonna work together to support each other and make sure that everything we're doing is better. And that's what I would suggest everybody out there doing. Everybody, if you out there, if you out there building and you are part of an organization, a collective, or you just an individual out there doing the work, or in your heart, got your heart in the right place, connect with other people who are doing something similar, even if they're doing something different. Y'all can collectively work together and make what everybody's doing even better, more effective, stronger. Example, you have individuals throughout our nation who have independent schools. Some of them are well established, or kind of got their own thing going, like the Uhuru Academy, and some people are just having small individual home schools. Don't really matter if you're big, little, don't matter, as long as you're trying to hurt. Connect with other people. You might have individuals doing home gardening or creating farms and urban farms where we're producing our own food. Well, you can connect. You can be like, hey, you know what? I got my own school. I got X amount of students. Can you come in and teach them about farming, how to create a garden, even if you're in your home or in your backyard, or if you have to have a container garden, or can you teach a class on that type of thing? Y'all build and connect, and we can grow, and everything that we're doing can be magnified. The effect of what we're doing can be magnified. So yeah, I'm with you 100, 1,000% on that. We got to work collective. Everything in our teachings that our ancestors left for us talk about collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, doing things as a collective. The community is more important than the individual. We can go on and on and on and on and on. We got the blueprint. We got to pick it up and we got to put it into motion. Brother Obafemi, how you doing? Said Freedom, brother Obafemi, how you doing? Checking us out at Facebook. That brother been dropping a lot of. You know what? We supposed to be producing a show. We've been, and I'm gonna put it on me. But we supposed to be putting out this entertainment, this good Black tablets, informational, inspirational music that people like yourself putting out there. You can't just put it out on YouTube. Let's put it out to the people. I want the novel audience to hear what you're doing and what other brothers and sisters are doing and producing as far as entertainment, so we can counteract all of this propaganda, this music that has been weaponized against our people. Brother Obafemi is an artist, by the way. Somebody want to call me right now. But yeah, he an artist, right? And a dope artist, a dope rapper, produce dope music down there in Little Rock, Arkansas. And we've been talking for the longest about putting on a show that highlights entertainment on Nava. So I think we need to just go and make it happen. Let's do it, brother, man. Let's do it. Brother El Abdul Muhammad, how you doing, brother, out there on the West Coast, our West Coast Connect? Economic independence is a must. It helps in our rebuilding of generational wealth, free the land. And you are absolutely correct, brother. Absolutely correct. It's something we don't really talk much about, but it's an initiative that is a great initiative, and I think we should talk about it a lot. We actually have a collective investment association. not only in Idlewild City, but all throughout the Lumumba district, all throughout Mississippi, where we get together and we collectively put our money together and we collectively invest so our money can collectively grow. And once it grows to a certain point, then we operate as an independent bank also, where we can give out low interest loans to people who are in need within the community. That's happening. That's the institution that's going on. I don't even know why we don't talk about that as much as just something we just kind of get together and doing. But we got several branches. You know what I'm saying? And we have, so if y'all interested in that type of thing, y'all get at me or get at us, Melly Queen, or one of the sisters or somebody connected with this show, because finances is extremely important, and it's not like we're not doing anything about it. We just need to be collectively involved and work together to make sure it's strong. And we have some branches that's sitting on a lot of money that I've already given out loans to people, helping them save their homes, because they're short on their home. So we can give you this loan at this short, low interest rate. And so it's a lot of potential, a lot of beautiful things that's going on. We just got to connect, and we got to make sure that everybody's initiative is stronger, and we're all working together collectively to make sure that we are building. What else we got going on? I'm gonna just go. I'm gonna let that catch up. That is. Salute to all the comrades gracing our panel, Black Power, Free the Land. Definitely thank you for that. Let me see what else we got. Melly Queen. What's up, brother Fadali? How you doing?
Great.
All right. And speaking of brother Ofini, he said, we appreciate the work, brothers. Thank you. It's good to be appreciated. Appreciate everything that you do. I'll be seeing the work I'll be seeing, what you're doing out there. Man, like I said, if you haven't had an opportunity to check out this brother's work, I'm assuming you can find it on the MCE Soul Music. That's SOLMUZIK at YouTube. MCE Soul Music. Check his out. Check his YouTube page out. Check his music out. Get brother Fadali back on. He just dropped off for whatever reason. Don't know. So, and brother Ofemi also said, definitely a supporter of the Uhuru Academy. My youngest son goes online. Damn right, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So, man, since we actually have the father of a student of the Uhuru Academy, you got to tell us your experience. How do you feel about this academy? How good is it? Is it something really worth it? Are we just supporting something that we don't need to support? I met the brother. Actually, I had the brother who's the founder of this academy on one of our shows, and man, this brother is just, man, I was just so impressed. So yeah, you got that firsthand information. Let us know how you feeling. Also, you said Black consciousness will help to bring about Black pride. The consciousness and pride will lead to an opportunity solidarity. And I'm agreeing with that. Yeah.
So let us keep it moving. We're talking about Black consciousness will help to bring Black pride. The consciousness and pride will lead to an operative solidarity. That's correct, my brother. We got a lot to do, but it's really nothing for us to do when we're talking about liberation and freedom. And Queen Melly Queen, the Uhuru Academy is worth it. And my daughter attended for a year, and I'm trying to get her to go back. That's right. And we're going through a lot of these. I didn't know we had gotten that far. Yeah. We appreciate y'all too. We like the fact that you guys are recognizing that we're playing our small part. We want to also recognize that we appreciate you guys, the support that you're giving us, being interactive with us with the comments. Like I say, it's a lot that we had to do. We're making it possible through NAVA to get the word out even more expeditiously by involving all of our brothers and sisters who are doing their part in making sure that Black people don't go unheard. Because we've tried through the media that the status quo media that's out there, and they don't care anything about us. So we got to do it for ourselves. You back on, brother? I don't see any more comments.
Yeah, we was right at the end of it. But yeah, definitely, we have to make sure we supporting our independent institution and the institutions that really support us, because that's how we're gonna get out of this situation. You know, that's a step. You know, that's a step in a protracted struggle that we are in, and we got to make sure that we treat every stage of our struggle with the proper amount of respect, and we focus on it. So when we turn it over to the next generation, you know, they can have some kind of momentum going forward. Like, okay, yeah, they build us up to this point, so now we can take it farther. We can advance to a level that maybe they didn't even think of, that we didn't even think of. So yeah, definitely support that Academy. Other thing we talked about, we talked about a little bit about Tyre Nichols, because I mean, the mayor of Memphis, Tennessee, Caucasian European dude. How the hell let that happen? But anyway, he's trying to introduce a curfew for the young people in Memphis, and the problem that a lot of people are having with that is this is just more opportunity for the police to interact with the people in a very violent, hostile, confrontational way. Everybody know, the whole world know by now what happened to Tyre Nichols, brutally murdered at the hands of this Scorpion unit. Very violent unit, has a long history of exploiting, not just exploiting, but brutalizing our community. And a lot of people really speaking out there. And I know some of the points that we made earlier is that, you know, they're really dealing with our youth in a reactive way. You know, we're not doing anything to try to prevent the negative things that happen in our community. You know, we have to address, really want to deal with a problem, you have to address the root of the problem, the source of the problem. If you don't deal with the source of the problem, it's just going to reemerge. You don't, you know, be like focused on, okay, we just want to lock everybody up. We want to tell you, we want to restrict people. We want to detain people when they're out later than we want them to be. You know, that's still not going to address the problem. That's not going to solve the problem. You know, it makes some people feel better about themselves, feel, you know, like you're doing something, but you're not really addressing the problem because you ain't did nothing to deal with the source of the problem. You've not dealt with the poverty within the community. You haven't dealt with the lack of productive activity and projects for young people. You know, if you're up there saying, well, we want to get them off the street, but you've never created anything that the children can do, that the youth can do productively, then, you know, it's like, what are we doing? You know, it's like saying, okay, we want to lock people up for stealing, but we don't want to address the idea, the reason, the underlying reason which causes people to steal in the first place. You don't want to address the fact that people lack the resources needed to survive, so they're forced to steal. So they're forced to sell drugs because they're trying to make ends meet. They're trying to make a living in this world. If you don't address those underlying issues and just saying, oh, we want to lock some people up and all of that, all you're doing is just creating another crisis, which this is basically what has happened. You know, throughout this government, they don't give a damn about us, which why we need to separate from it. But they come in the name of, we're addressing a problem, we're solving a problem, but you only the solution only creates other crises, bigger crises. We want to deal with we want to have a war on crime, which was just a war on Black people, which led to the explosion in the prison industrial complex, mass incarceration.
Simple thing about this. Okay, when the Tyre Nichols situation hit ahead, came to a point where people had to really address what was going on with the police department. We were indicated that these were part of a Scorpion group. Scorpion, for the whatever the acronym stands for, was supposed to be a positive thing to help decrease crime, and they called it Scorpion. So, yeah, the Scorpion unit. And so they had to dismantle that because of the incident. But they think we stupid. So what they do is create another reason to create another unit, name it a different name, and put the same people in place. I don't care about the 5 that's getting locked up and charged with murder, but it was the Scorpion unit wasn't in existence with 5 police officers. They were in existence with some of the officers that's going to be a part of this new unit that's supposed to be enforcing the curfew on our children. But they believe that we're so stupid and so gullible that we will accept another unit and won't realize that what they did was just change the name, created another reason for them to be out there, to have us find another one of our children beat to death by these same cops. The system is messed up. And so if the system is messed up, then we have to do like since we are all technologically advanced, we have to reboot and reset to a factory setting. What the factory setting is what we decide it should be. And we're going to have our own independent sovereign nation to do that. We can no longer depend on our enemy to create something that they claim is beneficial for us, because we know at the end of the day, behind closed doors, the benefits that are being the benefits that are being received are by white people from whatever they put in place. We're not benefiting from this curfew. Who the hell said the curfew was going to solve a problem anyway? And why are we creating a new unit when we know that creating units was the problem in the first place with the Scorpion unit? People, we can't be hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray again. We must stand firm and solid that the solutions to our problem has to come from us. I have my own tribunal, exercising justice on criminals who created crimes against our people, and standing strong and firm that we hold the truth to be self-evident that these things need to be done.
I think that we have the system does not solve our problem. There's nothing in the system that will allow us to solve our problem. We have to think outside the box and come up with our own system of doing things, of organizing our people, and doing whatever justice that needs to be done. Because the justice that they have for us in the system is just us in prison, just us in some institution, just us over here, where they can just play with us and do whatever they want to with us. They'll have no respect for our human rights. And so we have to be the ones to organize ourselves to be able to solve our own problems. And we can solve it. And like I say, there are people who are becoming more educated, who are moving to the point of understanding that this system cannot solve our problems. And once we get to that point, it's on us to organize ourselves to solve our own problems. And then we'll be doing what we need to do, creating the government that is going to be the government over ourselves, our government that's going to be represent us. And this is why we always talk about when we talk about New African pride, new African, not just black pride, but new African pride, that we are African, that we are being oppressed as African people, in the United States and the Western Hemisphere and throughout the world. And once we understand that, in other words, this is what we really know, because when you understand that you're a nation and your nation is being oppressed, then you know that you have to fight as a nation and organize for your own independence. Nobody else can give us independence. Nobody else can give us anything that will be the result in us being the one to do the things that we must do for ourselves. And even when we talk about reparations will be nothing until we have control over land, over the process of what we're talking about, the 5 states or wherever we are, wherever we exist. Because the only way that we ever get what we're supposed to get would be the reparation to repair ourselves within under our own structure. Not no welfare system, not no system that somebody's giving something to us here and we just want to put it in our hand. That money mean nothing. They can always devalue it, that dollar or whatever, but they can't devalue your land when you get your land. And one thing we got to get, and not allow our leadership within the New African movement to betray the trust of the people by trying to get themselves money and without land.
You said they can give us that money and devalue that money. Yeah. And one of the techniques is, if you're from Ida B. Wells City or any of the southern states, the stimulus money that we got, it became an opportunity to have a lot of disposable income for black people. But guess what? In every area, every jurisdiction where people were getting these stimulus checks that was larger than what you normally got paid, the cost of living went up. You cannot buy and live in Memphis, Tennessee for the same amount of money that you could have and comfortably in Memphis before 2019. After the stimulus package, this rent went up. So it's letting us know money is not the solution to our problem. We got to have the land. We got to have the control. I know it's almost time for us to get out of here. I see prophecy over there answered. But that's all I have to say.
Well, now, I want to go to Brother Obafemi, because he kind of responded to something we was talking about when I was asking him, how is the Uhuru Academy, one of our independent institutions that we created, one of us, a New African. Matter of fact, he is the Minister of Education in the Republic of New Afrika. School he created. Yeah, in the provisional government. And according to Brother Obafemi, which has a son in this academy, he said the Uhuru Academy is a great institution that has added so much to our families. It has helped to reinforce values, principles, and lessons that we are standing on in our household. So there you go. You don't just hear us talking about it. That's a real life example of an individual who said, you know what, I can do better than the public miseducation system. I can put my child in something that is independent, something that was created to aid us to build up our and give us the type of things that we need to solve our problems. And he said that it's been doing great things for not only him but his entire family. So that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So thank you for that, brother. But yeah, but like I said, well, like you said, it's getting close to that time. We've been here over an hour, and we kind of got some things we got to do, got some things we got to take care of. But we appreciate everybody for tuning in and thank you for your comments, and thank you for everything that you all do out there. And let's make sure that we continue to work collectively so we can build upon what we're doing right here, and we can ultimately free the land for real. We need to have that It's not just a phrase or a slogan or a freedom cry. It needs to be something that, I guess, for religious people, then they said in the beginning it was the word, and I don't be reading that type of stuff. It said something about making the word flesh, but we got to make those words manifest into reality. That's what I'm trying to say. So with that, y'all want to say anything to wrap up? Any final words to the people for this show?
I think that what we have to do, and is continue to talk positively in terms of our community, so that people will see the positive elements. There's too much negativity on other programs and things that are out there, and we have to make sure that we are the positive light in terms of and keep highlighting these programs like the WHO, program, and keep highlighting all these things in terms of musicians and what they're doing, what they're attempting, so that we can begin to create a fraternity of people who are together to support one another. And once we see that groundswell of support for one another, our people will be able to see it. And then we'll be able to create a groundswell of support in the community.
Yeah, I just want to close by saying that with these, we have a golden opportunity to support the institutions of secondary education through academies such as the WHO Academy, ASET Institute, Oasis Literacy Center, and many, many more. The motivating factor is, number one, let's not have these white folks inoculate our children with vaccines that cause autism, that we have no understanding or idea of what damage that these vaccines do to us. And number two, the motivating factor is, hey, in this new day and age, we can participate, we can have our children participate in these academies through online and the internet. We have a golden example here. One of the people here mentioned that, and we can utilize that to start that process of unifying the education of our youth.
All righty, and before we get out of here, Meta Queen actually chimed in on this subject too. He said the Uhuru Academy is worth it. My daughter attended for a year. I'm trying to get her to go back. See, there we go. That's what's up. But yeah, like I said, man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure y'all check out all of our shows during the week. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central Time, you will see the New African Perspectives, and Tuesday 10 o'clock you're going to see the Foundation of the Nation, and throughout the week you're going to see programs that are engaging in these type of conversations and more. But my name is Brother Prophecy for Comrade Kakayi, and my elder Grandmaster Teacher for Dolly. We want to leave y'all with our battle cry, and that is free the land, free the land, free the land, free the land. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all again next week. Peace.
I fight for land, independence, and for reparations. We gotta do for self-determination.
Being independent is a very, very good thing, because it means that you don't have to be dependent, especially on people who don't like you. Growing your own food, like teaching your own babies our real history, the real truth.
As a people, we are not grown unless we have independence. We are not grown as long as we living under another man's system, operating in his way of things, his laws, and his ordinances that support his rule, actually. So to me, it's not the importance of self-determination and independence. It is mandatory.
We could make a change, get off our